Hello, welcome to the final 3 games between jmcgnh and ArtisanFestival. So this is actually more than a week after the first one. So yeah, got lucky, and this was saw a message like just as I was turning on my computer. So here we go. Sort of. It might take a while. I'm sorry, I have a delicious apple. Alright. So let's see, what have we got here? We've got a nice village with fishing village. We've got nice draw with diplomat. Archive is also a nice draw and some thinning. Way of the Mouse is lighthouse. So I have heard that there are bugs with that. I don't totally know. Because it's a non-duration card being played as a duration card, so I don't know totally how that works. But we might see some cards played as as lighthouses, because there's Swindler as well. Captain is pretty nice as well. But yeah, so this is I guess you just want to like thin down as you can with well, you can't thin down yourself. If someone goes pirate ship, gladly take that. But otherwise, archive is archive is the most permanent thinning. And yeah. Yeah, so there's not too much oh boy. I am tired. I don't know what I'm saying. Archive is pretty good thinning, so probably going to want quite a few of those. This board seems a bit more treasure payloady. Although the one thing big thing it is lacking is plus buy. So going for fountain would be very hard. Just because you'd have to spend a buy on that. But yeah, so poor house is particularly bad here, just because it's kind of hard to play this without treasures. Yeah, fishing village and diplomat is probably the way that you're gonna want to go to like try to get through your deck. So a few fishing villages, diplomats, some archives, maybe a swindler or two. But yeah, then after that you want to just kind of get on to provincing. So ArtisanFestival is going with Pirate Ship, which is a bit of an interesting decision. Pirate Ship usually is not a great card, just because it helps your opponent clear out their coppers. Maybe you'll hit something important like a silver, or well, not important, but better than a copper, like a silver. But usually it just helps to thin down, and this is a board that certainly like you can run relatively easily without treasure payload. So just makes the pirate ships kind of dry up. Because you've got swindlers, you've got fortune tellers, fishing village, the way of the way of the mouse is a lighthouse, so that's also a bit of money. So there's a lot of non-treasure payload, and whoever is more successful at trashing coppers with pirate ship is gonna let the other person be able to play their pirate ship more often. So yeah, like you here, like maybe you can get it to like a gold. I mean, probably a little higher than that, but it's just a very slow way to build payload. Yeah, I think Swindler is much better than Pirate Ship, just generally speaking. And you've got draw and actions to be able to support Swindler. So provincing already seems a bit premature, but gonna have to start sooner or later, and this is a single buy kingdom, so there isn't too much that you can actually do. I think on 6, captain is probably better than gold, just because you can use it as a silver, do some damage. Yeah, but I guess they're just not going to be going Swindler. But yeah, ArtisanFestival is pretty far ahead, just because got a lot more way of getting through their deck. Adding an archive, like another archive, would be nice. Maybe one more seller, but it is kind of a hard opportunity cost to have to skip out on that. So here might be a good place to add another seller, maybe a fishing village. And they go with scheme, okay. I mean, that works as well. That's one way to be playing your pirate ships more often. So here jmcgh's going to have to be a bit careful. ArtisanFestival isn't super likely to be able to hit to province consistently. I mean, they can get one now if they want. But yeah, if it's single buy, then it's just going to be a little difficult to catch up, because ArtisanFestival can get another province right now. And now that ArtisanFestival has started provincing, the clearing out the coppers is helpful rather than hurtful. And yeah, bit of a brutal one there for jmcgh. Yeah, so I think here you need to be catching up on provinces, but it's just kind of hard from. Wow, what a draw! And then you can just use those two schemes. Top deck the archive would be really good here, actually, because there's a pretty high likelihood of being able to get some green cards in there to keep those out of the way. So here, lead on archive. Alright, well that works too. That's really good, actually. Alright, and ArtisanFestival has another province. So I think here they would want to take the province out, leave the pirate ship in, because they can't play their pirate ship this turn. But get them very, very close to ending the game. Yeah, so the pirate ship, taking the pirate ship there was not the right move. Alright, what is the text of yeah, so I guess playing Way of the Mouse as a lighthouse. Yeah, so I guess this is a part of the bug. I don't totally know how it works. But the lighthouse is not actually protecting here, which I'm sure you've noticed. So it's just basically giving yourself a copper and keeping a card out. Here I think probably just like scheme the pirate ship, get an archive and scheme the pirate ship. here the pirate ship is a little just going to stop being useful because there's just so many other cards than treasures. And Swindler on the 2 is a bit sad. Okay, 2 archives in your hand. Definitely should have played those. I do not know why you would not. Because playing those can just get stuff out of the way, help you set up your next turns a bit more. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd leave the pirate ship in there, but I guess it's fine, because that's another province right here. And I guess just discard everything but the pirate ship. Might as well attack here with this pirate ship, because already got 5. And you want to just try to mess with their ArtisanFestival's treasures as much as possible. But yeah, it's pretty over by this point. But yeah, not quite sure what went so wrong for jmcgnh in this game. Perhaps it was just a little harder to build in this kingdom than just going straight money, or closer to straight money. ArtisanFestival definitely had plenty of opportunities to build somewhat more, but I mean, it's a single buy kingdom, so anything that isn't like it's you have to really prioritize what you're doing. To be able to build well. So I myself am not good, not very good with building with single buy kingdoms, but it's a tricky balance of figuring out what's going to help me immediately and what's going to help me a little ways down the road. So getting in archives kind of on the earlier side is actually not necessarily the greatest, because it makes it a little bit harder to hit 5 for other things, but certainly later on archives are great. Don't ever not play an archive, because even if you get an archive in the archive, then you can just save that if you want to like stagger them a little bit. But yeah, playing archives will really help you keep stuff out, keep the bad stuff out. So well played by ArtisanFestival there. Okay. So for trashing, we've got Amulet. Ambassador is particularly good because not only is it trashing, quote unquote, cards from your deck, but junking up the other person's. Remake is really good. Then you've also got Spices and Wine Merchant for plus buy. You've got Governor and Experiment for draw, and then Governor is just also a very good card otherwise. Way of the Mole as well. So here you don't really want too many treasures. Although I don't know how much you're going to want to do that because you might want to just do Governor remodeling. With Governor remodeling, you can get 3 to 5 provinces a turn in one turn pretty easily. And so you could just run down instead of trying to get a colony a turn. Certainly possible as well to build to double colony, but probably would just be much better to do governor things. So 5-2 Artisan Festival goes Estate Spices, and J McCann goes Silver Workers Village. There is hard, like, Spices is a really good card, but usually it's just not a great idea to open Estate. It's usually just better to just pass on a 2 if there isn't a 2-cost card. Workers, start opening with a Workers Village is Workers Village is also a good card, but usually not the best to open with that, just because it's a bit of a waste. It doesn't do too much for you in the beginning, so it'd be much better to open Ambassador Amulet or Ambassador Experiment, something like that. To like work on getting thin quickly. Because especially if Artisan Festival is going more money-ish, like if you go more money-ish, then swamping someone with coppers is going to hurt if they can't get through them. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, maybe even Amulet isn't the greatest here. Um, it's just kind of a slow trasher. Remake is potentially better, so maybe Ambassador Remake would have been better to open for thinning, or Experiment Remake. But I'm particularly fond of Ambassador. Nice to be junking my opponent as they're trying to build. So it looks like Artisan Festival is just going money, and J McCann is attempting to build. Usually, yeah, it's a bit tricky because, yeah, for Governor to work well, you just want to be very, very thin. And if you slam Governors kind of as hard as you can, like spend like 5 or 6 turns with Ambassador just thinning down, and then go Governor with Experiments, then you're going to be in very, very good position. Here it's potentially a little slow. But yeah, like if you're the only one with governors, then it'll take a little longer, but you can usually rush down the provinces in 14, 15 turns. Um, where like single colony, like if you are able to consistently get a colony a turn, um, that takes a little longer to build too, so you're not going to be able to start till about turn 11. Um, and so even then, like that'll get you to 30 points, and by that point, like by turn 14 or so, um, that'll be 3 colonies, and then the governor player will have 8 provinces, which is 48. So yeah, if you thin down and play with governors, then that governor rush for provinces will be much better than single colony, especially if it is just basically straight money. But yeah, that's the tricky thing. Like you need to know like what governor can do and what your deck can do, because Artisan Festival can now just start colonying. jmcgnh can as well, but it's a bit trickier there. Although having any draw at all is going to be better than no draw at all. I don't know who has the... Yeah, Jay McCann has the wine merchant. So, yeah, Jay McCann, if they build properly, should be able to win this pretty easily. But building poorly or inefficiently will generally lose to money. So while I don't personally like it, Artisan Festival is just has a much higher money density in their deck. Um, yeah, I don't like that province there. Um, it would have been much better to just get a spices, because if you'd had those coffers, you could get a colony now. Um, but it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, again, like money heavy player is gonna be pretty fine. It might be a bit problematic coming up, but Jay McCann's just having some trouble hitting high price points. Just because, yeah, bit harder to do with not as much. Yeah, so I really don't like these provinces, but that's going to be next shuffle's problem. Um, Artisan Festival's still able to hit some uh, pretty high price points relatively easily, but as the game goes on, that's just going to get harder. Granted, it'll get harder for Jay McCann as well, since Jay McCann is slightly better off because they have thinned a bit. But yeah, and this is another way that you can be rushing down provinces. Yeah, so jmcgnh needs this game to go longer. Like they need to be able to build some more to catch up. If they just province here, then they're just going to be putting themselves in a much worse position. Workers' Village. I guess experiments should be the other thing, but Workers' Village isn't really too necessary at the moment. Fortune Teller might do some damage, but yeah, that was a bit unfortunate to have drawn that platinum. Wow. And ArtisanFestival is still able to colony. My goodness. Yeah, so it's looking pretty bad for jmcgnh here. So yeah, if ArtisanFestival had been managing coffers a little more, a little better, not getting provinces this early, then the game might be over by now. But there is absolutely no reason to have two provinces already as ArtisanFestival. Yep, and that's game. So, granted, this did take 20 whole turns. This game could have been over much more quickly with proper thinning. So yeah, jmcgnh, I like that you tried to build, but you just gotta be thinning down a lot more to be able to build appropriately. More governors, workers' villages are usually good cards, but really not that necessary here. Because you basically just want to have as many golds as is necessary to be able to get you to province remodeling. Because yeah, that was pretty much just straight money. So you're in for a bit of a rough time if you're going against just straight money, and it's just a hard build to do. All right. So here, I got my favorite card for thinning, and I say that with as much sarcasm as I can muster. Native Village. I do not like that card. It does not like me. Um, yeah, but the only thinning that it can really do is just storing stuff on the mat. And it always seems to love to find other native villages or literally anything else that you don't want it to find, because coppers and estates are what you want it to hit. But if you have any other action card or treasure, it's going to put that on the mat instead, because that's how native village rolls. But yeah, otherwise, gear's a really good card. Usually a really solid open to help you hit 5. You've got Legionary is a pretty strong attack. Artisans, Sculptors are both good gainers. You've got King's Court, which is just a really awesome card just all around. Probably better to use that for villages, but it's just going to be... This is going to be a bit of a rough game just because there's not really consistent draw or thinning. And, yeah, so probably going to go money again. Masterpiece overpay is really not that great here, just because it's essentially a copper. Like you're getting a silver and a copper, so it's just not that great in the long run. Yeah, this is quite a sad board. Probably would be better to just do money. So if you can get a good number of golds and a legionary or two, probably would want more than one just to make it happen more often. But legionary attack would be just absolutely brutal here, because discard attacks are always really good against big money. So, ArtisanFestival got a potion. Interesting decision. Philosopher's Stone is pretty widely considered to be the worst, absolute worst card in all 500 or so of Dominion cards. It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad, and having the potion is just another card to get in the way. I personally have never seen a Philosopher's Stone be worth any more than 3 or 4. Don't quite remember which, but there just is no good way to use Philosopher's Stone in 99.99999999999% of kingdoms. Just if Philosopher's Stone is on the board, just don't ever treat it like it is. Yeah, even Cobbler's not that great here unless it's to get you a gear. So I mean, like gear in Native Village are okay. Sculptor to be able to like get you silvers. though it's a little difficult to make that just be consistent. And gear is best if you can use it to set stuff up. So it's just a little hard with King's Court because you just have to use it as straight draw. So there, I kind of wanted to get a masterpiece overpay, just get a bunch of silvers. Because if you can just have a lot of like really high silver density, then your deck will be pretty good. Yeah, and most of the time, wishing for copper is the best idea. They get an artisan. Interesting. I mean, it's not like it's bad, but the potion is just a wasted buy, wasted space. Like if you have 3 in a potion, then you like if you don't get Philosopher's Stone, then it's just what are you doing? But yeah, this is just sad board. Here, definitely set aside estate and copper, because that way you can make both of those miss the shuffle. Just buy a province here, I think. So jmcgnh is basically never going to be able to line up Legionary with gold if they have it. Interesting. Setting aside a gold. I mean, why would you do that? Because the problem there is it put a copper and an estate into the shuffle that they didn't need to. And look at that. You had 8 last time and now you don't. Yeah. Yeah, King's Courts are a little tricky here just because like King's Court's a good card, but I don't know. If you're not gonna have gears or uh, like actions, really, like the majority of these decks are treasures. So it's, I mean, the way they're playing, like both are playing. It's better to just not have King's Courts really. I mean, yeah, like you can sort of get some control very early on with Native Village and Gear, um, but they just don't have them. Yeah. Here, jmcgnh can gain a gear, which would be nice to set some stuff aside. Because if you can hit 8 some other way than right now, then it'd be better to. Okay. All right. Well, that was a good hit. And I guess you want to just keep setting aside. Yeah. So I think jmcgnh has too many native villages here. This is just going to be much more money-ish kind of game. Stop buying native villages. Alright, here definitely set aside the estate in the province. Make those miss the shuffle. Get an artisan, get a duchy. I don't know, get a gold. Okay, yeah. So the nice thing is, now you know copper's on top, so you can just wish for copper with your mystic. Here set aside gold in King's Court, for sure. Because you can just get a province. Now, if this kingdom had buys, this would be awesome, but can just like siphon, like start to get stuff through. So here I would get a gear, I think, with your artisan. Got plenty of action, so you kind of want to like be thinking about setting up a next turn. I don't know, maybe you want to get a duchy at this point. Yeah, it's probably a good idea as well. But yes, definitely buy a province. because now to win ArtisanFestival needs to be able to get a duchy as well as a province, or well, yeah, province and a state even, but need to be able to find an artisan. That is priority numero uno. Because getting a province here is just going to be a losing tie. Yeah, so that's great. You got a ton of money. But, yep, that's scheme. And, yeah. So, here we've got a 2-1 ArtisanFestival. And, so that means that overall, I think it's I don't even know. It's been too long. But well played. Good luck in the next end of the season. And yep. So I will make sure to get these done, and I will let them know. All right. Well, thanks for watching.